Oh my God, welcome back, everybody, as we begin to get closer to the end. As the final choices are being made as our level 20 adventurers begin to realize that this long sought after journey that began a very long time ago in Nicodranus, a opportunity had arisen. An opportunity to see a bit of the Lucidian Sea, maybe even catch a glimpse of the Shattered Isles, as a little known organization called the Wanderman Assembly sought proof that no survivors of the family still existed. And thus began the original journey. And at this point in time, we've crossed the Lucidian Sea, we've ventured into the heights of Gnomeworks, we made discoveries. Probably the most significant discovery is a place of astral crossroads, as well as the freeing of an entity called Erebos, which then led the team on a journey deep into near the Shattered Isles, on a place called Haven, a formidable ancient sea dragon turtle, seemingly the home of merfolk. Once again, we finally found ourselves amongst an ancient people, and for the first time, we saw a lighthouse. The origin of the story, the beginnings of all of these things, with strange stories and strange interactions with the lighthouse, which is said to be within the Shattered Isles. But this led to connections and enemies. An individual by the name of Mason who is seeking something called the Blood Chamber. We now know precisely the reason why he has been seeking out fractured remains of Strahd's castle. But the team, once again, continue to pursue the idea that once on the Shattered Isles, all of these things would be revealed to them. Losing companions, either to the threat of death or death itself, losing companions who find themselves journeying in other places. The team are now deep into the realization that it's quite possible that the great orchestrator of some pretty interesting, shall we say, some pretty interesting threats to Exandria, whether it was his manipulation of the beacon, whether it was his near destruction of the divine during the apogee solstice. But this individual known as Ludinus Deleth has suddenly been recognized by the team. And all the pieces are beginning to possibly fall into place. Whether the Voik themselves have a direct link with this seems to be probable, as we are in the Tuscan Vale. The team responding to the threat of Ludinus and seeking to protect Earthen's family from the oncoming storm of Vasarisk's form of whatever it is, his lich-like form, and the vampire spawn that journey with him, tells us a clear indication that Mason has made his choice. Whether or not he's found the blood chamber, which he cannot, because the keystone was removed and the talisman is safely stowed away and unable for him to find or possess. And in his desperation, he has commanded Vasarisk to threaten Earthen's family in hopes of forcing the four out of hiding and then force a final confrontation. However, Mason, seeing how quickly Vassarisk and the Spawn were dispatched, and the inability to gather Earthen's family up as a means of bargaining, Mason has chosen not to directly confront the group. Earthen, however, becoming insistent that this stop, that this constant threat, this pursuant end to whatever is going on, be dealt with, places the Voik crown on his head and disappears, leaving the others behind in the Tuscan Vale to find that his family was safely led into the ethereal plane and back again. As all of you gather together, wondering what happened to Earthen. It's late at night. Earthen is nowhere to be seen.
Even Earthen wonders what happened to Earthen.
Family huddles around Xanath, Puck, and Spot. The two surviving Greenblades being protective of them. What do the three of you like to do at this point in time?
You really wanted to meet my wife, and you got the opportunity now.
This was not the circumstances we were envisioning.
I just want to kind of, like, in a moment of, like, the highest possible tension, like, none of that, just kind of lean over and speak to Earthen's wife, whose name I had copied out somewhere and don't anymore. So, I know this is a bad time. I feel obligated to tell you, in case he shows back up while you're with us, the next time I see your husband, I am going to punch him. Really, really hard. I wanted to make that clear, just because I don't know. He's a weird guy. He might show up like there, just kind of point off in the distance. But yeah, just let you know, when I see him, I'm going to hit him.
He does have that effect on people. I'm sure that. Look, the fact that you're speaking about him in the present tense tells me that he's at least still alive. Yes, as far as we know.
I saw him in the astral plane, and he kind of faded out. So I have absolutely no idea what that means. But yeah, like he was alive on the astral plane, but beyond that, I don't know.
Spot, you actually saw him on the astral plane?
Yes, when I was there, I tried to like dive tackle him and tried to drag him back, but his astral form kind of dissolved. I don't know what that means. It's not really a thing that happens.
Your husband was tasked with finding a leader for a couple of clans that we have encountered. It seems like he volunteered himself for the task. Wherever he is taken, I have a hard time believing that they would risk a potential leader of the cause that they believe in.
Question. Were there religious overtones in this sacrifice? Earthen's not a big divinity person. He's a bit of a get off my lawn kind of person when it comes to divinity, if you get my meaning.
It's nice to hear that from you. Yeah, we were afraid we would have to complain about him to somebody who is grief-stricken, as you have every right to be.
Yeah, like one of the kids looks up towards the mom and Mom, is this what you mean by love is blind sometimes when Dad does silly things like this? Yes, dear. It's the safe word I use to describe your father at times. Don't get me wrong, I love the man to death, but he can be a bit over the top in his emotional response to things.
You know what? Actually, while we're here, let's complain about him. This would be fun.
Well, I am there. God.
Yeah, the stage is yours.
Oh, he's. I don't know where to start.
Well, I actually have a few questions for you guys. If you're not too, I know this is a lot, and you don't have to trust us immediately. Obviously, you've been through so much. We would love to know how much you know of what's going on, because clearly you've stayed hidden for a reason, even though so many forces have been telling us that the things that Earthen was fighting have been gone for a while. It doesn't really seem that way. And we are trying to make sense a little bit of both his past, which you are obviously so much more familiar with, and what we can do to help going on forward.
Earthen's journey has been a long time in the making. The threats were real for a time, and hiding us became important to him to keep us safe. The notion that sometimes you're so used to running, it's almost scarier when you expect you have to stop running. Where do you find your purpose? Where do you find your intent on why you do what you do? Earthen believes in the freedom of people. Earthen believes that people should, well, they should command their own destiny through the understanding of the choices they make for themselves and not what people make for them. Until recently, when I met Master Caleb, who had explained to me how the service assembly had been remade and the old threats done away with, I thought for sure that Earthen would come back, but clearly being on the run with all of you, he felt it important that we remain in hiding. Caleb did not seem to disagree with that and left these green blades with us to keep us safe. I dare say there were some correct assumptions here. But if Earthen's about to do something that he feels is important, then it must be important. But even to this day, I think his fear is that if he rejoins a world not being run by those that choose to control their own destiny, that maybe his fight will never be over. Maybe his greatest concern is this word, freedom, that he has chased all of his life. Freedom from the arcane, freedom from the divine, freedom from monarchy, freedom from the warlords and those that wish to use their power for their own purposes. This has always been Earthen's driving force. It's what led him to become a bard in the study of lore and the study of history, and try to bring that message to people that would be willing to listen to it. Earlier on, his travels were more about how he could keep us safe and secret and continue to learn more about the world that he sought to change. I would imagine whatever he's about to do, he must have purpose, but I have to be quite honest, I'm not sure, other than brief conversations with him. I'm not really sure what he's doing. I had hoped that he was here merely going to return to the Tuscan Vale and finally plant roots and get back to our lives, but he must feel that something is unfinished. And by the looks of these dead things and what you and your friends just did, there must still be a threat out there that we must be concerned about.
This actually kind of brings us to another concerning question. Do you have any sense of how Basilisk and the rest of these people would know where to find you?
The green blades exchange looks and then look back towards We would have no idea how anybody would be able to find us. The other Green Blade. Our mission was very specific. Take Earthen's family to a very remote space with limited contact. And the only person that would know we were here were Master Caleb. No one else knew we were here. Not even our own principalities of Uthadorn. When we were asked to protect and travel with this family, we were not allowed to tell our captains or our families. It was all orchestrated by Caleb.
You understand why... Okay. Do you report to him regularly?
Beginning of each day, we report to him, let him know that everything is fine. We had settled in for the early evening when we were assaulted by these creatures, and then at the same time, your arrival. We have not really had much time to process any of this, to be honest with you.
Has he said anything as of lately, or checked in more frequently than usual?
No, it's quite a regular process. Contact him, report, contact. No change in that order of things for some time. To be honest with you, I am equally surprised by all of this as much as you might be. Who is this? The Green Blades exchange glances, and then the one Green Blade. Who is this Mason? Who is this Basilisk? Who are these people?
Would you mind if we searched your brain for a little bit, just to make sure you're telling us the truth? You understand why we have to be careful right now?
Give me a persuasion check on
God
that.
damn it, Earthen, where are you?
Do you
I'll
mind
give her-
to scrape out your brain matter for a minute and check it?
I'll give her advantage by like nodding like this is all normal.
Well,
You.
technically you are a priestess of Helm, and while these are people that would probably worship Uthadorn patrons, and they do recognize you as more of a fighter Templar, like someone who definitely values the importance of strong divinity.
Mm-hmm.
You have advantage on this, Puck.
Okay, thank
with
you.
Zenith helping, yeah.
So it's persuasion?
Correct.
Wow. Well, thank God, because the first one was a 1.
Let's get that out of
Hey.
the
Oh,
You can't get
17.
more.
So together, 19.
nice.
So all in
I
all,
under-
it's 17.
I understand your concern. I will gladly allow you to check my thoughts if you need to.
Okay. And I hold his hand and just really dive in there.
Okay. Earth and the world around you is liquid silver. As you were focusing on the journey that you're looking towards, for a brief moment, as you were peering into the astral sea to find the right pathway to take, for a brief moment, you thought you saw a tabaxi standing alongside you, but before you could focus on it, you faded into the one pathway that you can see. And that's when you begin to hear the sounds of familiar voices. The echoes of a cold, empty space and world. Drums, pipes, lutes, all the things. And then you begin to hear the chants. a great energy of voices reaching up to the sky, and you find yourself standing on the edge of a familiar place. A place that you know you were once at before. Only things feel different. There's a sense of recognition that what you're seeing is what it looked like long before your arrival and the retrieval of the crown. You see 9 Void strapped totems in a semicircle. They're tied, bound, their mostly nude body exposed to the weather, but covered in the iconography of the Void, of the different tribes of the Void. One particularly large Void stands in the middle of all of them, steps up to each one, makes a magical invocation of what feels like druidic magic, and then draws the blade very carefully and very reverently across the throat of the first Void. They do this 9 times. And after each time, they dab a bit of the blood onto the crown. They then walk over to the Lore Keeper's totem that you remember seeing previously. They set the crown on the dais in front of the totem. They speak the words, and the crown is absorbed into the dais. This would explain the 9 undead Void that challenged you when you got here. When you raised your voice in an effort to maybe bring some kind of understanding about the Dragon Void. But your invocation of the crown and the stone has brought you to this point of either time or memory. It's hard to tell. The ethereal plane can be strange at times. While you feel your natural revulsion towards the divine sacrifice or ceremony that you're seeing here, the crown was sent away for the purpose of both protection and opportunity of the right person to find it. Time passes. The memory shades. Not sure when, but the landscape looks older, looks more worn. There is a very young, thin, frail looking boy walking out of the woods. They look exhausted. Their skin cut with the obvious effort of getting here. A familiar voice rings out as the boy looks at the dais. You are what I call my ace in the hole, young man. I have many plans, I have many plots, and I have many things that can protect me. But you will be the one that they will not see coming. You've traveled far and proven yourself to me. You've earned the favor of Ludinus the Lamb. Now, begin your journey. You watch as the young man steps up to the dais, reaches down for a dagger, and plunges it into his eye. He begins to carve at his skull and pop the eye out and place it on the dais. Blood coming down his face, screaming in pain. The blood splashes across the dais. You then watch as each of the undead Voik begin to rise from the ground. Then a familiar visage appears amongst the dead Voik. Erebos. Before he was trapped, before he was contained, he stands as if to begin a ritual with this strange young man that just offered a sacrifice. That moment, a striking explosion of arcane energy, a strange shimmering portal appears. Ludinus arrived, gathering up Erebos and then disappearing back into the portal. The young man standing there in pain. Then a few moments later, Ludinus, a very young-looking Ludinus, arrives yet again. You did very well, young Mason. Now, let's get your eye repaired, and let's get you ready for your final bit of the journey. The image cracks and falls away from your mind, and now you stand breathing the cold air. The crown atop your head, and you're back where you were when you retrieved the crown. The 9 dead Voik surround you, including one that you don't recognize, a dragon Voik. As you stand there, there's no sign of the eye or the blood that was placed on the dais. The crown rests firmly on your head. The 9 dead Voik, not seemingly responsive. Cold air bites. What would you like to do?
I'll take the dagger off my waist and hold my hand out over the dice, cut my palm, and squeeze a handful of blood onto the dice.
The first of the undead Voik step towards you, the shuffling of stiff bone, desiccated sinew. Are you sure this is a burden that you want? And then another of the dead Voik. Oh, he is sure. Look at his face. Another thinner dead Voik. Ah, he retrieved the crown. He is the one allowed to make the choice of the burden. The unfamiliar dragon Voik. The strange look about their bones, their features. They don't quite look like the other ones so much. They look a little bit different. Less humanoid and something else. Our kind has waited a long time for this ritual. There's been no unified leader since our fall. If he thinks he can bear the burden, and he thinks that he can do what is required, what are we to care if he is not Voik? Of course you don't care, you foul creature, for you are not Voik. Personator. Another of the undead Voik prepares to rush towards the dragon Voik. The other undead holding him back. What matter is it where the creature comes from? If he can bear the weight, the truth of this world, then and he can unify us and lead us to what we deserve. Perhaps this is what this world needs. Something different. Something new. The dragon Voik steps over to one of the nearby undead Voik. I have never promised any of you anything when we left our world. That world only consumed us, destroyed us. Had I known that the bargain I made with that vicious elf was going to put us in this position, this condition, I didn't know that giving him the truth of Rudius would cause so much harm. But that is a different past now. If this vile creature has corrupted another for his own purposes of manipulation, then I say we show him the truth of this world. Not say he does with it as he pleases. If he echoes to the unknown and calls all void to this world, it's his choice to make. Because if there's anything I smell, we smell war. And it's going to happen here, whether we choose it to or not. All the undead Void stare at each other, and they all stare back at you, Earthen. One of the undead Void, wearing the Lorekeeper tribal apparel, but her form long dead, long desiccated, steps out amongst all of the rest to stand in the middle of the semicircle, holding her hands up towards the Void totem. And that's when you notice for the first time, as her hands reach up and twist at the sky moves at an impossible speed and rate. Whether you go backwards or forwards, you're unsure. But at some point, you're staring up at a sky with but one moon. Kathia. All of the world around you is cinder, fire, smoke. You can see that a great battle is occurring up in the sky. Unknown forces colliding, destroying, erupting. And then suddenly, an explosion so massive, you watch as a coalescing ball of red energy implodes in on itself, and you watch as a second moon comes into existence. The small minor moon, Kathia, or Rudius, sorry. The small minor red moon of Rudius. Watch as the starscape goes by. You're standing back yet again in front of the undead Lorekeeper. Gods and magic and nature. These are all things that live with each other. Like you travel with your friends in the embodiment of your spirit of both love and family. So is the balance of the world. There is an evil in a man that does not appreciate this balance. And this balance must be upheld at no matter the cost. This vile elf has lied, manipulated, destroyed, deceived, all because of their hatred for the divine. their insistence. Divinity is why we are in the place that we are. The great period of founding, the great period of calamity, destruction of Aeor, destruction of the great mages. Gods flee to protect their children, are all proof of their divine love. It is only because people turn away from that love and faith that it loses mass, that it loses purpose, that it loses place in a world. We lost our way in trusting the Dragon Void. Xandria lost its way when it stopped having faith. When it stopped believing that only humanoid cause is the purposeful one. Now, you bear the crown of the unification of the Void. The orb will call them to you if you choose to call them, or any ally that you think you might need. But know this, through Mason's manipulation and Ludinus's magic, the two of them are building something that you will not be able to destroy unless you gather all allies to you. Do what we failed to do. Unify your tribes. Unify our tribes. Because what is coming is a destroyer of worlds. Ludinus has failed too many times. And he is now lost to madness. That madness will consume everything.
Bring me Erebos.
Coming out of the shimmering, cold, vapid air, the familiar Erebos. Glad to see you made the right choice, Ethan.
So you do remember me.
Yes. I remember everything.
I call upon you to help me correct what you allowed to go awry.
Erebos stands there still, his face looking towards the other undead Voik and back towards you. Are you sure?
I am.
You watch as Erebos brings his hands together and begins to rip apart the very fabric of reality around you. And there's a thunderous, arcane, just crash of energy that engulfs you and Erebus. Light and darkness fade away. Puck, feeling like you're right never always feels good. your mind begins to push through a barrier in this Greenblade's mind. A familiar barrier. You've sensed these alterations before in people's minds that have been purposely wiped or altered. Give me an intelligence save, if you would, please. No, for you, wisdom. Sorry, wisdom save. Not that that's probably much better,
No, wait.
but...
No, actually, wait. No. You said intelligence first. That's what you said, right?
Is that better? Would you prefer intelligence?
Yes, I'm a lot smarter
Okay.
than
Make an
wise.
intelligence save, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciated. Oh, thank God. It's 21.
21. You push through this barrier, this false memory of a Greenblade's thoughts of a journey from Uthadern at the behest of Caleb to protect a family within the Tuscan Vale, to keep them safe. As you push through the false memory, there is Caleb standing in front of a group of 8 Greenblades within the Tuscan Vale. You can see in the background the 2 daughters and the mother playing, kind of enjoying the freedom of the farm. Caleb invokes an incantation, a swipe of material components, an arcane utterance. This will have to be the hardest thing I've ever done. But there is no choice. When something is set into motion, it must be guided. It must be performative. To me and my friends couldn't do 100 years ago. I hope these 4 will. When they arrive, do the following. And the memory kind of breaks up and blurs out. You catch glimpses of his manipulation of their minds, his insistence on them allowing the family to be threatened, creating the causality of the need for the 4 of you to arrive here so that a path could be chosen, so that Erebos can be restored. You pull out of the mind of the Greenblade, who looks at you in fear and shock. You had no idea that's what he was doing. That the one Greenblade looks at the other. They look back. They look over at Earthen's wife and children, who have now kind of stepped protectively closer towards the farmhouse to kind of give you guys your space. Seeing Puck doing, from their perspective, very dangerous things.
Well, he is who we thought he was.
Who?
Caleb. He knew what was happening, and it seems like possibly he believed that by allowing this situation, which I don't necessarily know what allowing means. I don't know if he informed Mason about the person's family. I don't know what exactly was his end goal. But he mentioned that he was doing this so Erebus could be chosen, and that so the 4 of us can be here. It's hard to place exactly where he is and what his goals are, but I don't think he's with us.
So he wanted Erebos restored. Why would he want that?
He said he wanted to guide something that's already been put in motion. It's hard not to think about what he tried to do with the thing that was in my brain, where he felt that his understanding of the situation allowed him to control it in ways that were, let's say ethically dubious. The question if it's similar or something entirely different, I don't know. But if he allowed Earthen's family to come into this kind of danger, for us to come into this kind of danger, then he sees all of us as expendable.
I think we need to find Earthen wherever he is. I tried sending him a message and I cannot feel him. I could try a gate spell and try and pull him through, but I don't know where he is. I don't know where Mason is. I don't know what we do.
My instinct says that we should go into hiding and fast. We could see if we could get the Green Bears to tell Caleb that we all died. Just have him not know what's going on with us at the very least. If we can make it convincing, that's better. And then just see if we can use a spell of non-detection, anything like that, to take some time and think about this, where neither Caleb nor Mason can find us.
Or maybe we need to confront Caleb and find out what it is he started. You said that he was trying, this was a path he wanted us to go down to finish something that he and his friends had started, right?
Yeah.
Or couldn't finish.
We can confront him. How do you feel about this, Spot?
I'm all for confronting Caleb, but Mr. Greenberg, can I bill back?
Oh, yes, sorry, of course.
No. Other things going on. Other things. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you for allowing us to keep the family safe.
Oh no. Obviously, like I'm gonna punch him really hard, but no, I got no enmity against his his mate and children. That'd be cruel.
Yes.
Well, maybe we can just, at the very least, not let him know what's going on. We can try and ambush him in some capacity. I just don't know what he has ready for us. He seems in control in ways that I don't like.
As a green blade of the earth, to have my mind manipulated without my agreement. I am willing to take on this task. Me and my friend can travel back to Rexentrum, deliver the bad news to Caleb and see what his response is. But that might buy you some time. Caleb has a reputation of being a very powerful wizard, as well as always trying to benefit for the good of those that either are in service of him or who he chooses to serve with. He's always been a bit of a hero to most people within the Morrow Valley, ever since the collapse of the king's power and the rise of the new queen. With the subjugation of the Wanderman Assembly and his remaking of the world, well, his remaking of the Rexentrum capital and the Morrow Valley and its relationship with the other kingdoms, this had always put him in a position of grace and a belief that he's always striving for good. But to hear you tell the tale now, and after what you just did for my mind, at what cost has he accomplished these things?
As things stand, it's unclear how much control Ludus has and how much of his accomplishments are true. It is less, I guess more than anything, it's that we're not sure exactly where we stand. And now, of course, Earthen is gone. Xanath, you tend to have a better sense of right and wrong than I would say most of us. Okay, Okay, just me. Okay, fine. What do you think is the correct path for us?
I think we have a number of issues here. We don't know where Mason is, and we don't know where Earthen is. Caleb seems to have more information, but he also is hiding a lot of information from us. He might have a lead. Ludinus might have a lead, but he's extremely dangerous to talk to. Or I could try to summon Erebos,
I still have
who
his
seems to be tangled up in this. Oh yeah, or you could maybe call him.
I was actually going to give it to you when it
Oh.
felt dramatic enough to do so. But this is pretty dramatic, so
I think it was a favor given to you, wasn't it?
it was. I don't know. I thought it would be dramatic. Never mind.
If Erebos is at the heart of this, I did not sense that he was hostile to us when we previously spoke, and maybe he's the person we need to talk to.
I think you're right. Is this the place where we want to do it, or do we want to find a place where we might be shielded from prying eyes?
I think we should distance ourselves from here. Whether that means just like walking towards the mountains or
Me and my friend will take the family into our own security. He will guide them to Uthadorn. There he will keep them safe within the halls of our king and queen until either Earthen's return or whatever you deem necessary. I will travel to Rexentrum and deliver the bad news that all of you perished in the fight with these creatures, and the creatures left after your destruction. Perhaps that will cause Caleb to reveal something to us.
I hope so. I can cast fog. I know it's nighttime, so Xanus should be able to fly or to float. I have my coin drake, and Spot can basically fly. Laughs in the face of gravity.
Yeah, Maverity.
Yeah, maybe we can just see if we can head towards the mountains and find some space to set up camp and do it, hopefully, without having to worry about either Mason or Caleb showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys going to start heading towards the Syros Mountains and use that as your place to figure out how to call Erebos or figure out what your next plan is?
Yeah.
Yeah, and can I cast fog cloud within 120 feet of us? And do I have pass without a trace? I don't. So just fog.
Okay. Does it travel with you?
Yeah, just to give us hopefully some amount of advantage on going undetected.
Okay, that's fair. You guys watch Puck bring into effect this massive cloud, this fog bank around the three of you. Invoking each of your special skills, you begin to rise off the ground, and the fog follows you through the low stratus sky of the night sky as you begin to head towards the tall climbing Syros Mountains on the far edge of this valley area. Earthen, things calm down. The energy recedes. You and Erebos stand in a familiar space. A great, massive effigy of some godlike creature, surrounded in astral sea energy and arriving and disappearing streaks of light. This was that place that you guys stumbled upon many, many months ago on Gnomework. This astral crossroad where creatures would arrive, disappear, and Erebos stands alongside you. This place was my domain, my responsibility. A young man called, summoned me to the challenge, and I was taken prisoner in my effort to help. There I was put deep in the heart of that volcanic realm that you found me. And when you and your other friends rescued me and set me free, my responsibility was to remain here and watch over the crossroads. And these fated crossroads deliver possibility throughout all time. In my absence, I believe somebody accessed this place and made many journeys. And these journeys showed them many things. With my freedom, I was able to reestablish my control over the Crossroads fate. Earthen, the gods' voices are growing silent. Not just the Prime, but the Betrayer gods as well. And not just this world and its pantheon, but other worlds and their pantheon begin to grow silent. Whatever has happened is not limited to this world, but all worlds are under threat.
Well, then we have a lot of work to do.
It's not a matter of work, Earthen. It's a matter of faith. The gods derive the power that they give to their believers through that embodiment of faith. All the power in the world can be unleashed in any moment once that faith is restored.
Erebos, do you know why I'm a bard? Do you know why? Do you know where my power comes from? Do you know how I got to be here, where I am now?
He just stares at you silently.
It wasn't the gods that got me here. The Prime or the Betrayer. It was people. And the power of people. I've spent my life chasing, perhaps it's a dream. I've spent my life chasing this dream of a place where there is no yoke, where there is no necessity for this obeisance to some divine power. Because when people come together, we can make marvelous things happen. Why? Why did I start that revolution in Regzentrum? It barely got off the ground. But why? The people needed to be free.
Erebos stares at you for what feels like forever. His white eyes and pale complexion unmoving. Perhaps you just lack the faith to complete your task. The faith in yourself. It's easy to blame things of power for their own fallacies. The hardest thing to ever do is to look upon oneself and recognize weakness, recognize fallibility, recognize the fact that the gods have always been an illusion of strength and power. But you question something that you have been given countless evidence of. Your friend Xanon believes in you. She has fought by your side, traveled with you, suffered with you. Puck, the most seemingly innocent of you all, although I suspect we know the truth, has shed blood and spirit and has been enticed by some of the oldest and darkest powers, including my father. Spots a rambling soul of true belief. The chaos of his decisions, the very essence of faith. So much evidence, so much proof. And you continue to believe that you don't have faith in these things. Where do you think your magic truly comes from, Earthen? Yourself? No mortal being can be that foolish. The veil, he flourishes, tears at the air around both of you. The thin spaces between existence. The magic pulls the magic to him. Life, death. The energy of these places crackles with the faith of old gods and the hope for new gods. But a world that lacks faith, lacks hope. A world that lacks hope, lacks purpose. A world without purpose is a world not worth having. Do you have purpose, Earthen? Do Do you seek purpose in this world?
I believe I know my purpose in this world. And the faith you say I lack, I believe in Xanth. I have faith in Xanth. We disagree on some things, but I have faith in Xanth. I have faith in Puck. I've made bad decisions in my life as well. But I couldn't be where I am now without those decisions. I have faith in Spot as agitating as that can be. I also have faith in Winter. And in all of our companions on this quest. But I cannot bear to see faith placed in the hands of such fickle, misguided beings. All the way back to the ceiling of the Obsidian Gate. Forward to the death of your brother.
The 9 beacons are lit. Perhaps it's time for the 10th beacon to be lit. It has sat cold for so long that most felt it would never, ever happen. You watch as he brings energy in between his two hands and crushes that energy between his hands. And then spinning, floating between his two hands, a yellow stone. About 2 inches in diameter, the kind of heft of facets to it. Little crystalline beams of light flaring off of it. Little arcs of energy. I give the faith back. I repair what is broken. Take the stone, Earthen. It's yours. I leave it with you.
I take the stone and I roll it around in my fingers. Does it look familiar at all?
No, it doesn't look familiar at all. Too small to be a lighthouse beacon. Too small to be a stone of energy with purpose. It's almost a stone that represents the improbability and impossibility of your decision.
I take the stone, and where I had placed the stone of polymorph in the crown, I replace the new beacon into the dragon crest on the crown.
You bear the weight, Scion. You are the first of Scions. You are the bearer of the faith of an independent and free people. Your journey will be hard. Those that believe in the absolute idea of faith will see you as dangerous, a zealot, and anti to the cause of the gods. If you want to lead a revolution, Earthen, then I give you the faith of all humanity, goblinoid, humanoid, all those souls that you feel deserve their own freedom, their own choice. What you decide to do with it is the first of all choices. But know this, you have enemies that know you're coming. You have enemies that want to destroy gods for different reasons. And there are those that will fight to the death to preserve the way of the god. Let the new age of Skyon begin. You watch as Erebos just melts into the energy of the space that you're in. You watch as visions of the past and the present fill your mind. And you stand on the edge of a familiar cliff with a familiar structure off in the distance. Its energy pouring out from its edge, drifting out and about. You look down, Fjordheim does not exist yet. Beacon and its arcane energy drift in waves of effervescence out across the open bay and into the Lucidian Sea.
Voik, to me.
Somewhere across the vast astral sea, thousands of voices rise in crescendo, and blooming spots of energy appear on the horizon. One ship, then two, then three, a dozen, 100, 1,000 ships arrive at the call of the reason why they knew they had to come to protect this world. Their journey bypassing the conflict with the Dragon Voik. And the great emblem of the Skyon emblazoned across the landscape that draws the Voik here to set roots, build their totems, unify their people in the jungles of these shattered isles. As you guys float through the skyscape towards the mountains, the silence envelops the three of you. The world feels like it's on the edge of change. Sometimes witnessing change can be hard. But you feel like it's happening right now with your own sense of hesitation. Whatever Earthen is doing, you feel like it's happening now. You watch as the landscape gets brighter. You watch as the stars shimmer with a strange kind of elastic glow of energy. The three of you drift over the landscape of the Tuscan Vale and the valley it sits in. And you pick a lone peak within the Sirios Mountains. Frozen thousands of feet, you drift towards it. A series of ledges and other small shelters of rock on the edges of this peak. And you guide yourselves down towards it, and you gently land on this frozen landscape. What would you like to do?
I think it feels like something is happening right now. Should I try to call Erebos? Or should I try to call Earthen?
I guess we should maybe start with Earthen.
I can only do it once. It's a 9th level spell.
Oh. We have the coin of Erebos, so maybe we can try to call Earthen, and if he doesn't answer, we can use the coin.
Okay. I will try to cast a gate spell to summon Earthen from wherever he is.
Read that spell for me one more time.
You conjure a portal linking an unoccupied space you can see within range to a precise location on a different plane of existence. The portal has a back and a front. Let's see. Travel to the portal is only possible to the front. Deities and other planar rulers can prevent portals created by the spell from opening in their presence or anywhere within their domains. When you cast the spell, you can speak the name of a specific creature. If the creature's on the plane other than the one you're on, the portal opens in the named creature's immediate vicinity and draws the creature through it to the nearest unoccupied space on your side of the portal.
You guys watch as the portal begins to take shape. Xanath begins to focus on the spell, consume the components. As you bring this gate into effect, how do you call Earthen? How do you make Earthen arrive?
I think I'm picturing Earthen in my mind with the crown on, and I'm just saying in my mind, Earthen, come back.
Earthen, you hear a familiar voice. The edges of what you know. And this voice has purpose, it has meaning, and it sounds urgent. As you recognize Xanath's voice. As you look down upon the arrival for the first time of the Voik, a period in time that was broken because of what had happened with Mason, now repaired, a unified Voik tribe will have hundreds of years of secrecy and time to establish themselves. And you hear that voice yet again. Come back. Come back.
Can I reverse the spell?
I mean, you could certainly try. It's a pretty powerful spell.
I know. I don't mean counterspell. I mean reverse it. Draw them to where I am.
That does not seem likely. The spell, its purpose for why Xanath brought it into effect, is designed for one person to use. As you think on this, you hear, come back. Come back.
I'll first speak out to the Voik as they assemble.
You watch as the first of the ships land on the beach. You watch as the 9 flags of the Voik make the journey from boat to shore. But every time they stare up at you, it's with hands covering eyes as if to stare at something so bright they can barely look in your direction.
I reach my hand out and tell them to prepare.
They hear "prepare" echo throughout the valley.
There will be a time.
There will be a time. And now they fall to their knees.
Stop groveling. I hate groveling.
Groveling? I hate groveling. They awkwardly look at each other and quickly get back to their feet.
There is a battle to come, but not for some time. Lay your claims here. I will return. And I follow the spell now. Like, after I've made that proclamation.
Yeah, you follow the voice. It's at that moment you realize that what they were guiding or blinding their hands from was the stone staying behind. You watch as the stone floats over to the beacon, disappears into it, and you watch the light of the beacon change. Its colors more golden, more red and blue. And you begin to hear the voices down below raise themselves up in a unison of chants. And you step through the portal. Let's take our 5-minute break, and when we come back, we will do the second half as the group is back together again.
All right.
Spot is the loudest background player I know.
Sorry, that is the cat drugs configure that the alarm sets to go off at 8:30. So
No
there
worries.
he goes.
I love it. Sorry. Drugging my cats.
Every time.
Hey, welcome to my literal, baby child.
Oh yeah, that true polymorph definitely altered you, Earthen. Does it say that you're able to do that at an additional key cost spot, or is that flavor?
No, it's not. That was a thing that we had kind of
Okay.
talked about as a flavor text.
Yeah,
thing.
we
It's
talked
like
about it off and on, and
Yeah, it's like we've never landed one way or the other. It's kind of like it's not something I was intending to do in combat. It was just kind of a, hey, if I got to drag someone in, it's basically what I was trying to do with Earthen. I can't technically do that, but it's also
right,
like,
right. The gate flares with energy, and Earthen appears, landing on the rocky ledge. 4 of you are back together again, isolated up on this very tall peak within the Sirios Mountains.
So does
my god.
does he look different?
It looks very different.
What does he look like?
Ageless.
Earthen? Is that you?
Yeah. Yep.
Is it the scary voice or is it his regular voice?
It sounds like his regular voice.
Okay.
Not that you'd know what the scary voice is.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's me. No.
What
You
happened?
Hey,
Different.
oh, Earthen, I want to make sure you're okay. Like you've obviously changed, but you're okay.
I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna come up real close. And I'm gonna punch him really hard in the gut.
As you like punch him, the amount of pain that shoots up your arm, the fact that he doesn't even budge at your strike, and Earthen's even looking at your strike like, what the fuck?
That normally hurts.
Oh.
All right, sorry. And I'll put a healing word on him. I know he doesn't need it, but I'm still going to do it anyway.
Right. You're like, healing
Tell your
word.
wife I was gonna do that.
You met my wife? They were
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, you didn't let me. I pulled your wife and I gave one of the Greenblade guards my belt. And I had them jump into the ethereal plane. You didn't wait around for more than 6 seconds, or I would have told you. They're safe. They're alive.
Sorry, I was a dragon.
Can I do like a religion check or a medicine check on Earthen?
Do you have divine sense?
I do not have divine sense.
You give me a religion check.
All right. That's a 15.
There's definitely something strange about him. His age feels undone. While he still looks like Earthen, and what you can see looks like Earthen, but he is not old. Like you remember, the wrinkles are gone, the smooth complexion, very kind of strange, almost a little like unnatural. You can't help but notice that when he cast Healing Word on his friend's Spot, there was a bit of an extra flare of energy when he did it. He almost kind of shimmered in his entirety when he did it.
What happened to you? Where have you been?
I think it worked.
What worked?
So, it wasn't my intention to do it then and there, but it sounded like more trouble than we could handle was coming on the horizon. And when I got the crown, I was told that I would need to choose the next successor, the one who would unify the Void clans. And I got this idea. If I could unify the Void clans, if I could bring them back together, maybe I could undo all the damage done from their fracture and the separation and the pain and suffering and everything that's been caused since it happened. So that stone Spot, remember when we were under we went to that shipwreck and we pried the stones off of the chest?
Yeah, I remember that. That was terrifying. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I kept the stone of true polymorph, and I had intended to use that against something we were going to fight, or I had it for those reasons. And then I thought, well, if I could use this stone to become whatever was necessary to reunite the Void clans, then maybe we could fix this. Maybe we could be successful, and we could win.
Cool. So you used a stolen gem to transmute yourself into a god. I get it. Same old story. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Have you seen yourself?
No.
I'm going to cast. What is it? What is my silent image? And it's just the exact picture of Earthen.
Okay. Earthen, as you stare at the image that Spot conjures, you're almost shiny. There's a lack of age to your face. You don't look like you used to look. You look different. You look transformed. You look kind of holy.
Is that how this works? What the hell? The hell's what is this? What? That's what I look like?
Yeah. I mean, I have another interesting way of testing that. You mind if I punch you again?
Sure. I sit my chin out
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and please tell me if this is done. I'm gonna be like, all right, well, after our last thing and some meditating, I figured out I could do this. I'm just gonna go Sacred Flame. So radiant damage, so you should be immune to that. But yeah, 13. Nothing?
Are you gonna hit me?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna hit me.
Good to have you back.
There's sacred monk fire on your face.
Oh shit.
Yeah, nothing happens. Just kind of washes over him.
I'm reaching for my locket.
What locket?
It's what Earthen's worn the whole journey. He's had the silver locket with a picture of his family inside.
What locket?
Where's...
Oh no.
What happened? So I'm gonna relate to them the conversation I had with Erebos.
Do you relate the whole conversation?
Oh yeah,
So
I mean,
everything that
Earthen has been
learned,
really open
he
about,
spends the next 20 minutes of this late night mountaintop conversation telling you everything that happened. Absolutely
that's
everything.
1, 2, 3, 4 pages of lore. Okay, like 4 pages of scribble scrawl. I told you when we were at the forge. Remember? We what was his name? Magna. What was his name? The fallen Azamir that we met.
Yeah.
Even then, I told you. When we stood before the obsidian gates, I told you there has to be a better way.
There is no better way in place. The thing that you want to do, destroy all divinity, it doesn't solve any problems. It just leaves a bunch of people powerless. It means when bad people do bad things, like devils in the 9 hell, who, by the way, are not gods, do bad things, there will be no one with the power to stop them.
My Voik are not gods either.
Spot looks a bit miffed. Like,
Are you saying that you only have power? You can only do good because of your connection to Helm? You're saying Xanth without Helm does not exist as a good person doing good in the world?
Of course not, but I make the decision to do good acts, and I am able to do more because I have help from Helm. Helm is like an avatar of my faith as much as I am an avatar of him. And without gods like Helm, many people will not have protection. I thought that we were past this. Like, I know when we first met that you were like entirely anti-divinity, but we've been together for months and months and months, and you've seen all the good work that divinity can do, and you've seen the people choose to provide service in the name of a god in order to do good acts.
I'm gonna look at Puck. Like, while you're talking, I look at Puck.
I look back at him.
We have also seen the harm that can come from a mistake.
Now, let me end that real quick. A mistake I made on my own behest, trusting something that could have been a god and could have been something else.
If it wasn't a god at all, that never would have happened. Your soul would still be yours. You would still be whole.
What soul is still hers?
That's not what Caleb said.
Caleb said if she died, she might die permanently.
Yeah.
But that doesn't
Her
say anything
soul
about
is no longer tethered to her form.
When I spoke with Dominion, if nothing else, he gave me the decency of making my own mistakes. When I spoke with Caleb, he did not have that decency, and he was as mortal as any of us, except, of course, for you right now. I will say, I have known you for a long time. You are very understanding. You have had empathy towards people I myself would not have empathy towards. So, when I tell you that some of your talking points are unfortunately similar to the person you hate the most in the world, I do want you to consider that as something to pause at. Not something to change, because we all have different opinions, and that's part of how we managed to exist this long. If all of us were the same, we would just all make the same mistakes. Your mistrust of divinity is as important as Xana's trust in her connection with a divinity. But no one's point of view should overtake everybody's. And right now, ironically, because of whatever divine connection you have managed to secure for yourself, you might have that power. So just remember to hold that back.
D6 inspiration on that, Puck. That was stellar. That was the most clearly concise way of the great battle of divine that I could ever hear. That was amazing. Thank you.
Oh, thanks. I need that D6. I'd roll like shit.
You do roll like shit. I'm not gonna take that away from you
The
ever.
divine does not like me.
Why are you
Never
so,
gonna take it away.
why are you so good at persuading us?
And nobody else.
Oh my god, that was so well done.
If what you say is true, if I have become divine, well, this isn't what I wanted. Shit.
Well, maybe that's good that that's not what you wanted. Frankly, I would have wanted it, and I would have made a terrible god.
I just
There's
wanted
nothing else?
everything and everyone to be free. Free from all of their burdens.
Freedom isn't free, you know that much. I mean, right now, you have power. A lot of people die for power. I trust that you are wise enough to handle that. But please, don't let whatever strength you have recently acquired turn you into the exact thing that you despise. That's always a risk.
Xanath, with this conversation more on Puck and Earthen right now, and because Earthen shared the entire story with you,
Yeah.
give me a religion check, if you
All
would,
right.
please.
Okay. Come on.
Keep telling you, Baldric, I'm not that kind of cleric.
That's a
You want-
14.
You want
14?
Yeah. Inspiration?
From a god?
God
I
level inspiration.
Oh, you know what?
Tell, yeah.
Yeah,
Is
do
it-
it.
Enough because
But I would like.
I would.
If you
I have-
told me you're trying to figure out what's going on, I would gladly grant you inspiration.
It's more passive than directive. That's why
Right.
she can't really get the help action.
Yeah,
So it's more
I have
passive.
I have a once a day ability where I can roll twice and add 10 to my roll.
There you go.
I'll do that
This feels like that opportunity. Yeah.
All right, that is a 38.
The part of the story where the undead Voik and Erebos spoke of the burden, he carries the burden. He carries the burden of humanity that is convinced that faith is not required. He carries the burden of freedom. He carries the burden of the separation between the parent and the child. He's changed something in the past that has forced this burden upon him. And you know precisely why now that locket is missing.
And I think I'm feeling really crestfallen in the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Earthen, you took on something really, really heavy. You wanted something for everyone, and you took on the burden of it. And you're different now. You're an avatar.
An avatar of what? Who?
An avatar of that desire to be free from divinity, to be free from burden. Where's your locket?
What locket?
I'm going to try and cast sending to his wife.
No connection. Doesn't exist.
Your wife, your kids?
So it aside, in doing all of this, that's all been undone now. So it's not there. Or would Earthen retain the memory, but now it's not there? Or
Earthen's not done yet, so I would say you retain the memory. You retain the memory. And you're becoming more aware of what this burden is, and it kind of feels like a trap.
where's my wife?
I can't reach her.
Where are we? Where are we now?
We're in the mountains, about
Yeah.
half an hour from the homestead they were being kept in.
I'll turn and take off towards the homestead. Do I need to activate a ring to fly now, or is that, or
You guys watch
to travel?
as... Well, the question is, do you take your friends with you?
Sure.
As you think of the
I can't,
homestead, within the blink of an eye, you're there.
Where is my wife? I go into the building and throw open the door.
Empty. Doesn't feel like anyone's lived here for decades.
The damage from the fight is still.
Nope. No damage.
Wait. Vesper's fell on the house. Why is the house not broken? You all saw that, right? We were all there.
Can I go to where Vesper's head landed when I cut it off, just to see if that's still in the ground or on the grounds?
Nothing there. Empty grass, empty space. Old rotten crates, abandoned buildings. No sign that life was ever here. Whatever family lived here a long time ago.
We're all going to Rexentrum. And I'm going back to our house. Or at least what was our house.
You arrive in a valley bereft of city. A barren place, empty, no capital city, no population. It's overgrown with forest, grassland, wild animals slinking in and out of the darkness of the night. You stand amongst an open glade. Silent night and silent wind swirling around you.
No, this isn't right. I'm thinking back to, hang on, I need to pull up a map and remember the name of the place. I forgot her home, the elven home, to the west of Rexentrum, where the Sylvan Elves lived. Oh.
I love making him
Actually-
go through this. So much fun.
Actually, first we're going to the Velven Thicket, actually, Earthen's home.
Oh,
Where I was a child when all of that happened, but
Yeah.
to the Velven Thicket where I witnessed the Volstruckers murder my father on behalf of the Empire and their claim to expansion.
You arrive in a empty valley of green grass hills, trees, forested areas, a huge herd of deer go running by as the four of you land in that open space. No sign of people, no sign of houses, no sign of anything. Just the natural world spread out all around you.
Earthen, what are we doing? Where are we?
This isn't right. This is not. This isn't. No. This was my home. This was my home. Where is it? Where is everything?
You went back in time, right? You changed things.
I didn't change that. I didn't. Did I change that? We're going back to the Voik landing, the beacon.
Okay, let's go back.
The energy swirls around you, the smell of the salt air, and there, the familiar beacon lit, but with different colors, and built in and all around this once natural, like kind of beautiful landscape. The city so massive, teeming, with a population of tens of thousands. And as you stand on this cliff looking down at the flourishing Voik below, you look off into the horizon and you can see great rising smoke from the other Voik communities that have grown here as they have flourished and have done well for themselves. Built in a very large section of the bluff cliff above the lighthouse is a 100-foot tall effigy of Earthen. And it's just emblazoned across the bottom of it, carved in huge monumental letters, Skyon.
I'm gonna kind of like look over at Xanth and be like, "Is this what it felt like?"
Welcome to the club.
Oh, this feels different.
Well, it was about seeing a statue of yourself.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
It was the.
Definitely.
Is this what it felt like?
Where's my statue, by the way? I've been waiting for 2 years.
It's not as fun as you would think.
It's the grass, the
I'm
grass
just saying, Winter got that cave painting. Where's Scott and I's appreciation?
Squad is fighting the urge to smack you on the back of the head with every fiber of their being, because it still kind of hurts. No.
And then you begin to hear the roar of crowds from down below. You see these great war machines built all along the coast of this Fordheim city. These great airships beginning to rise up as hundreds of airships filled with thousands upon thousands of warrior Voik begin to ascend up into the sky, drifting off into the horizon. Yet, coming from behind you, hundreds of more Voik airships as an entire isolated community of warriors set with purpose to be prepared, as they were told so many centuries ago, are now lifting their great armies up into the sky and drift off into the horizon.
Shit.
Poor Zaz, she's just like, I feel compelled to tell you I told you so, but we're all basically fucked, so I don't really see how that's going to help us.
We're only here because you
Fox is
called me to come
standing there.
back.
Fox is standing there with like this measure of pride on his face. Pure chaos. I like it. I like the new Earth. Basically, do whatever we want.
Do I feel stronger when he thinks that?
Your
Well,
follower.
the surge of so many followers of the Scion around you, it does embolden you. It does make you feel more relevant, more present, more. You feel this urge to have your faithful with you.
Wait here. And I'm going to try and send myself back to that point in time when I stepped through the gate.
Which one? The one where you...
Well, I know when I left the Voik to go and answer the gate call.
Okay. The four of you watch as Earthen tries to think about that pivot that he expressed to you. That idea of the choice that he made when he left the Scion Stone behind and warned the Voik about preparing themselves for the future. This is when all of you begin to realize that your past may not be your past anymore. That this new present that you're living is an unfolding of a fated event. The memory that you recovered for that green blade and about Caleb's insistence on the choice of a single path and the manipulation of a powerful wizard. The idea of what Mason was doing. The idea of what Ludinus might have been plotting and planning in his prison. All of these things led to a point where Earthen took back the faith of humanity, taking away all the faith that guided humanity up to that point. As there's no effect from Earthen's attempt to shift out and back at that point in time, all of you watch as Erebos reappears. Standing alongside Erebos, a familiar, elderly, confined turtle.
Oh.
The brothers stand in front of the four of you. Turtle's voice cracking with anxious interpretation. You see, I told you, Erebos. Humanity is incapable of understanding the burden. Erebos drifts alongside his brother. I had hoped that his choice would take a different path, but it did not. I had hoped that he would see the reason and the importance of faith, and he did not. I thought that the love of his family and his friends would bring him back from the brink of the remaking of the world. The turtle drifts to stand in front of the four of you. Earthen, do you feel the burden now? Do you even begin to understand this burden of faith. What you believe to be the constant intervention of divine power is actually its absence. Humanity has been calling its own shots for a very long time. Only a small few ever bear the weight of understanding what divine power is. Your perception of what your friends did to release me from my burden felt poorly in your mind. And now look at how they look at you. You took away the faith of an entire world because you wanted to. And now you bear that burden. Erebos drifts alongside his brother. Our father, Dominion, an ancient god of old times, believed once the way you did, Earthen. Humanity of all worlds is better off on their own. But I can assure you of one thing. Divinity does not feel love or hate. Divinity only ever feels purposeful. You can set things back the way they were. There's only one way to do that. And we are here to tell you what you are about to do will not fix what you have broken. Because the world is not broken, Earthen. You intervened. You kept it from becoming what it was. It's become something else. Even now, your Scion warriors rise up into the astral sea. And they will take their war to the other worlds to convince them the Scion is the only truth. That humanity dictates all matters for itself. And that any world that believes in a god should be sundered and brought to heel. Earthen, you have become destroyer of worlds. These Void will flourish, the gods will disappear, the faith abandoned, the preservation of those of humanity across the astral sea. This war will wage for millennia until the last voice of the last god is just simply forgotten.
This was not the plan. This wasn't the plan. Draxel Grix, Erebos. I understand. I have to fix this.
The two brothers stare at each other, look back towards you. The four of you find yourself back in a familiar place. Back at the fated crossroads. The great massive effigy of the godlike statue holding up the ceiling of this empty, vast area. The wisps of light crossroading and going in different directions. Erebos and Draxelgrix gone. And you stand there looking down at 4 familiar individuals. But they look younger. They look from a time of when they were traversing this place for the first time. You see Xaneth, Puck, Spot, and Earthen all looking up into the sky as if to admire streaks of light moving through these faded crossroads. Then the memory of ghostly shadows convincing those 4 souls to keep trying, to keep moving on, to continue to do what they're doing. Those images that you saw all that time ago, strange, familiar images, strange, familiar voices. At these crossroads, Earthen, you are but shadow and dust and light crossing through many faded paths around this massive structure. You look down, seeing your former self, helping your friends through this space to eventually find your way deep down to eventually help Erebos escape. You begin to descend into the shadowy light of the Crossroads Fate. You watch as you hear a voice. Hello? Someone there? And it's you. But before Gnomeworks is freed, before the Fire Titan is destroyed and Erebos freed, it's that single point when you're in between so many times of fated choices, your familiar silhouette calling out, looking into the shadows at you. Hey, Puck, I can see something, but I don't know what it is. You hear Xana's voice. Don't do it. Then you hear Spot's voice. Oh, we're doing it.
Oh, you really know us.
Believe in yourself, Earthen. Believe in yourself. Listen
See
to
a
Zen.
hand begin to reach out towards you, start getting closer towards you. What? Believe? Who are you?
Listen to Xanth. Keep an eye on Puck. Actually, help Spot keep an eye on Puck.
How do you know our names? Who are you? What are you?
I am what you will become if you don't listen. You love your
Wait,
family.
wait. Go. What do you mean?
Believe in yourself.
Watch as the swirling energy of the crossroads fate gathers all of you up, so you find yourselves floating in the astral sea. Gliding alongside you, Erebos. For the first time, a glint of white where his mouth is as he's smiling a knowing smile towards Earthen. Erebos drifts over towards Earthen and very gently pulls the Scion stone out of Earthen's hand. Pulls the stone apart and sets the energy adrift. Do you see now, Earthen? Do you understand? It's not perfect. It's not ideal. But without that balance, life does not flourish. Hope does not take root. Your rebellious nature is important to your kind. It's come in many different shades across the different landscapes of your kind. Evil will always lose as long as there's hope. Now, prepare yourselves. Send you back. The lesson learned. The gods saved. Through your sacrifice. The four of you have your greatest fight ahead of you. I cannot intervene, for the crossroads fate is in purpose, in motion. The pathway set, choice made. Mason's power will grow. Lewdness will seek through Mason to destroy the divine. But he does not possess the one thing he needs to do that. The talisman of blood protects the blood chamber from both of them.
We have met somebody who was in search of this talisman. And I described the person who we let into the vicinity of the talisman and hopefully is not evil.
I do not know this person.
Do you think she would be able to reach it from where we last saw her?
I think she is an anomaly. My vision does not see her purpose or her intent. Without the talisman, the blood chamber is quite useless to anybody.
I see.
Was she alive or dead when you left her then?
Undead.
We brought her back to life.
She was dead after Spot was done with her, right?
Very
But
much
she
so.
woke up as soon as we left.
Erebos fades into the blackness of his cowl, of his black-gray robes. I don't know what that means. My vision does not see it. My fate does not see it.
She claimed the name of the person who sent us here.
You watch as Erebos begins to fade into quiet energy, and the four of you are back up on the Sirius mountain peak. Still late at night, no sense that much time went by.
I immediately reach for my locket.
It's there.
Earthen, you were a god. Can we make a big deal out of it now, or is it too soon?
Oh god. Oh, thank you, Lord. Oh,
Dude.
this is just turned to him, just like, man, that was close. That was really close. Just going for like a full hug. Just, it's okay.
Are you gonna hit him?
Just smack him with my tail on the way out.
There's like 1 point of bludgeoning damage. A little bit of blood comes out of his nose.
Like after the fight, I only had 1 HP left, so that would have actually. If you went all the way back there, that would have knocked me unconscious.
You watch as his tail hits Earthen, and Earthen plops onto the rock surface of the ledge, unconscious.
Well, we all agree he deserved it, right?
With that,
What a rough day.
yeah, like with that, you bring Earthen back to consciousness.
What the hell was that?
Apparently, you're still, well, took you back to a time before you had a chance to heal up a little bit. You're still our squishy little bard guy.
But if you're not a god, then who's gonna lead the Voik? Isn't there still that missing spot? Not you, Spot.
We know now, right? What Ludinus and Mason are trying to do. They are trying to get this blood talisman. So we need to get it and destroy it, right? We need to make sure no one gets in this vault.
Do we want to...
I don't know how else the vault can be accessed. Spot broke the keystone, right?
Yeah. I haven't broken the keystone yet. We haven't in our...
He removed it to prevent entry.
Removed it. Well, he did his punch thing on it, right? Your magic punch thing.
I haven't done it. I was planning on doing that. I thought that was the one that... I stole the one from above the doorway.
Above the archway, above the doorway.
Yep.
I thought one of you had the talisman.
We saw it go in the well.
When did we get the talisman?
Oh, that's right. You saw it go.
We saw it go in the well.
That's right.
I had the vision of the talisman
in the blood well.
When what's his face vampire guy, not Mason. No.
No,
it
Strahd.
Was, Strahd, yeah.
Yes.
When Strahd took the talisman and dropped it in the well.
So do we need to go to the well?
I guess... Well, I guess it comes down to the age-old question of do we want to take a long rest in case somebody is waiting for us at the well, or do we want to do this now and just, risk what will happen?
Just because I don't have health, it doesn't mean I don't have spells.
This is all, by the way, happening in the dome that Mason cannot penetrate with his clairvoyant spells.
Is it too soon to make jokes about how Earthen should have stayed a god for like maybe a day longer so we could have killed Mason?
It would have made things really simple.
Well, technically, I did kill Mason.
That's true.
I just unkilled Mason.
Dang it, Earthen. It's okay. Sorry, no, it's too soon. It's too soon. I'm sorry. This was.
Wait, I still have the crown, right?
He puts it back on.
I got this. We'll try it again.
When the world finally comes apart, you guys are kind of like drifting, I don't think you did that right. Again.
I just keep taking the crown off and back on. Try it again.
You're like, Erebus, do over, please.
It's very much a Family Guy cycle where they're trying to get back to their correct time.
Yep. Yeah. Earthen would be the quantum leap. So just waiting for the leap home.
Well, we should also consider the fact that you now have a thing that makes people into what is essentially a god. That's a lot of power for one person to have. I don't know what you intend to do with it. If you're going to destroy this crown, if you're going to find the one true person or not person who needs it, who deserves it, who can do something with it. But best of luck to you.
You're totally kind of making the argument that the gods are bad again.
It's not an idea that it's bad.
Oh,
You did it a lot of
like,
in one place.
Kind of making the whole argument that I had.
You still gonna say that shit?
You know what? I think you're right. Maybe you should wear it, and this way there will be no god.
The whole argument back over again. That that's too much power for one being to have.
It is, but unfortunately, that's the way this specific world works.
But that's the thing. The power doesn't come from the being. It comes from those who believe in it.
The power would go somewhere. I mean, even if there are no powerful entities, there are still entities of power. And the fact that you have been given a conduit to power that I don't think any other entity has had before is not something to shrug at. And also, if Mason gets this, we are all fucking doomed. So maybe let's consider that carefully.
He's not going to get it. He
I
can't,
know.
so long as I still have it.
Well, I hope you use it wisely. I trust you, mostly. No, I trust you. Also, I know nobody asked. I'd make a fantastic god. My tiger would too. Never mind. Okay, enough jokes. This is really serious and really bad. I'm sorry. I joke when I'm nervous.
I did see how you cringed when Draxelgrix was there.
Yeah, not a fan of that. But
I still don't like it, but I feel better.
hey, what do you and I have in common now? Also Xanath. We all killed a god. Step to our level, Spots. You next.
I helped a great deal. Remember, I was in the forge.
Technically, Spot just killed a former god, or knocked him out at least.
Yeah, that's true. We can change your name from the fucks to god killers.
Yeah.
We'll go.
Well, I mean, the branding on that for me is not great, but
The god killers, but not that kind.
yeah.
G-A-W-D, not G-O-D.
Right.
Oh my god!
It was very nice to see your family. They seemed great.
Are they still here?
They would have begun their travels to Uthadur.
But they can't be that far away, right? Because we're still in the same place.
Since the time that we summoned you, it had only been like half an hour. They had started moving, but they may only be like an hour out or two.
Assuming that plane shift time stuff didn't happen.
Yeah.
Is there any way for us to... Earthen, can you summon them?
Can you polymorph into a dragon?
I was gonna just activate my ring, but yeah, I can polymorph into a dragon. So I'll polymorph myself into a silver dragon.
Yes.
Hell yes.
Come on.
Just climb aboard.
Yeah.
Let's climb
Like,
up.
I'll
You're
kinda
like 5,000
down.
feet up on this peak, and there,
I'll hunker
standing on
down.
the precipice, is this adult silver dragon, and oddly enough, a bearded Fu Manchu thing kind of dangling from it, but it's all silver strand
whiskers.
hair.
It's like it's the whiskers.
Yeah, little whiskers all braided. The three of you crawl onto the back of the silver dragon, and you feel it just lift in the air and use the cruising altitude of this tall peak to kind of allow it to be aloft. You begin to go down towards Tuscan Vale and down in the general area that they would have started their journey towards, well, by foot. And it's then that you could see 4 tiny, shadowy specks along the edge of a forested region. They have backpacks and travel gear on. They're being led by one of the Green Blades, who is being very cautious, but the 4 specks stop. And as you drift lower and lower, you watch as they immediately begin to hide into the forested area just as you land.
And as we land, I'm just gonna drop polymorph.
And of course, all your friends go tumbling off in the ground.
Right.
Oh!
They just from 10 feet off the ground, just
Spot, oddly enough, Spot never lands that way. It's always
right.
slowly falls to the ground and hero lands without any effort.
Kirale.
Watch as one of the Green Blade that was leading them beginning of the journey to go towards Uthaburn comes out. Buck, Zenith, Spot, Earthen, and then you watch as 3 familiar figures come out of the undergrowth of the forest. A woman with 2 children, all in travel gear, tightly bound up in cloaks. She drops the hood. Earthen?
I rush towards them, and
Yeah, the kids don't even wait. They run in front of mom. They get to you first, and you kind of like bend down and scoop them up.
I'm gonna
and
catch them. Yeah,
Oh.
like
she stops a few feet from you, kind of reaches down and pulls you up to her height. Don't ever do that again. And she just pulls you in for a very long, heartfelt embrace.
You have no idea. I thought you were gone forever.
What do you mean? You've only been gone for half an hour, 45 minutes tops.
I did punch him. I need you to know that. Again, just double thumbs up behind his back.
Thank you very much. It obviously worked because he's back. For good.
It's a story for another day. But
Dad?
Dad.
Dad.
Yes.
Dad. Did you bring anything?
Earthen.
I'm gonna reach back into the pack, and I'll pull out the blue dragon scale from the one we killed.
Yeah. What's that, Dad? What is that?
This is a blue dragon scale, but this dragon was no dragon you could ever find around Exandria.
Girls,
This dragon,
up to take it from your hand.
this dragon came from another plane, but he met us on an island and we killed him.
That's really
For what
neat.
it's worth,
Dad,
I offered him the chance to leave.
Anything else?
And I pull out the bracers of deflection. I've just been holding them. We haven't used them. I'm going to give these to your mother for when you're older.
Oh, okay. Got anything else?
Did you get them chocolates?
This stone represents
You know-
the faith of all humanity.
Right?
Here, go play
I've got-
marbles with it.
I've got this crown. And then finally, I'm gonna actually pull out the Greater Illusion Stone.
Ooh.
And
Yeah, they hand off the bracer, or you hand off the bracers to your wife, and she takes the takes the scale away from them, and as the scale kind of goes into her hand, she's holding the bracers and the scale. You show them the illusionary stone, and it's very easy to operate. You just think of something that you want it to do, and it does it in a very illusionary way.
Yep. And I said, we can't travel together yet, but you'll always be able to see me with the stone.
The kids immediately grab it from you. Your wife looking very heartfelt and very disappointed at the same time. As the kids grab it and go running off, they're suddenly just surrounded by unicorns and swirling bunny rabbits and birds and giant machines made of chocolate baked goods that are chasing them around. And your wife just looks at you, looks at them. We're never going to be able to get them off of that. We're going to have to limit their time.
It was just taking up space.
Man, I drop an iPhone pun and just one snicker.
Well, I had it. I couldn't think of anything with screen time, though.
They have to limit their stone time.
Right?
There, okay. All right. A little bit of drug
Yeah.
use and phone use at the same time. I love it.
Right?
D6 inspiration for correcting the DM. Yeah, that was good. Augmenting my reality. Oh, there we go. I did it. What do you mean you can't stay? We've gone a long time, Earthen.
Even longer than you know. I made a mistake thinking I could do it all myself. But now, well, I think you've met my friends here.
Yes, they were the first. Yes. They lingered after you disappeared to make sure that we were taken care of.
For what it's
Yes.
worth, I wasn't trying to disappear. That was
I
a
understand. You say that a
unintended
lot,
side
Earthen.
effect.
I wasn't trying to do this. I wasn't trying to do that. But you seem inevitably you're going to do it. Are your battles over yet?
No. Mason and Ludinus are still out there.
Can't someone else deal with them? Your friends are strong. Why can't they go deal with it? You need to be with your family.
I know. I will be. But I have to see this through.
See tears begin to kind of roll down her cheeks. Kids are lost in their illusionary plaything that you've given them.
It's not... I've been given a new perspective. And I've seen how misguided, though well-intentioned, I had been. If these men are not stopped, there won't be anything. There won't be us. There won't be our children. There won't be anything. I thought it was just divinity. And if we could just sever the ties to divinity, that we would be free from this yoke of burden of life. And yet, the burden became mine. And it was too much to bear. But this burden, these two men, they must be stopped.
I understand.
I fear
do.
we're the only ones that can do it.
They're so dangerous. What makes you think that just the four of you can do it? What if you need friends, Earthen? You need allies. If it's just the four of you against these two very dangerous people, what guarantees can you make?
I put my hand on her cheek. Kirillai, friends are the one thing I've always been able to make. And I step back. I turn towards the three of you. If we're going to stop them, we're going to need an army. It won't be the four of us alone.
Well, after you disappeared, we spoke to the armored man over here about Caleb. We looked into their memories. We realized that he has been manipulating a lot of forces in a way that might not be to our benefit, including endangering your family. And I guess seeing them and us as something that he can sacrifice. I can see that you are maybe thinking that, or maybe not. Maybe I'm drawing the wrong conclusions. Did you think that we should ask Caleb for help and for his army? The Voik?
I finger the I'm fingering the crown right now. Just like rolling it, like rolling the different totem heads through my fingers.
Oh, those maniacs I trust more.
What did you see about Caleb? I wasn't present for any of that.
Oh, I tell him.
I was vanished for all that whole series.
Yeah, no, he's a bastard. No, it's unclear exactly where he is, let's say, on the board. It is possible that he is as much against Mason as the rest of us. But he seemed to believe that something was already in motion and that sending us to this particular location was something that had to happen for whatever reason. Listen,
You said something he failed to do.
Him and his friends failed.
Yeah, he and his friends failed to do.
Figures they'd fail at things, they suck. Well,
they were responsible for detaining Ludinus. What they failed to do that must mean he knows Ludinus still has plans in motion. A failsafe. when we spoke to Ludinus, remember he talked about when his body would end, when he perished, he would be delivered into his freedom.
So, about that, I haven't met this guy, so I don't really know the whole story behind this Ludus character. But I feel like I might be able to point out, like, I can punch things magically, and I can set him on holy fire now. So I figured it out. I figured I would get that out there.
I think that's going to come in handy.
Cool.
But when I brought up when I spoke to Ludinus, I brought up the idea that he might have a phylactery somewhere.
Can't you use your little tricky thing there to see if you can find it?
He seemed intrigued. He seemed intrigued that I might suss out that perhaps he was a lich. Because if I recall, without destroying a phylactery, you can't kill the lich.
What is in the blood vault?
I don't know. But we do know where the key is.
Is that our next destination, the Blood Vault or the Voik?
I think we've got to get that key as soon as possible.
I agree. The key seems important.
Spot, you have the stone still, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's in my bag of holding.
Can you retrieve the stone?
Yeah, just kind of reach into my bag.
Actually, we'll need a rest first, but if
Yeah.
you retrieve the stone,
If we have a good description of it, or if we can get a good description for it, I can do locate object when we get there. Maybe that'll make things a little bit faster for us.
yeah, we'll need to find the well, because we know how to get to the place where the well is, but not to the well itself. And then we got to figure out how to get the amulet out of the well.
Oh.
But if Spot can pull the keystone, we can use that to get back to where that location is.
Okay, let's make sure we have all of the necessary spells stacked in advance. I think it would be smart of us to have a clear plan and just really get that thing as soon as possible without any really bad shenanigans.
As the four of you are grouped, excited to have Earthen back, and like the family's safe. Excuse me. The family's safe, and the sense of accomplishment, the sense of purpose, this kind of remade pact amongst friends that better understand how important what they're doing is. Seeing failure firsthand is very visceral, but learning from it is even more visceral. Watching Earthen become who he needs to be to overcome his fear of faith. Puck's reaffirmation of humanity's ability to have always been able to make that choice. Zenith's affirmation of her belief in Helm and Helm being there for her when it's needed. And the very kind of like calm, retrospective sense of absolute purpose in Spot's anxious awaiting of finally dealing with Mason and whatever this Blood Vault offers as a solution to what Ludinus has been secretly planning for so long. In fact, based on the story that Earthen told, this plan began long before his first failures. This plan began long before Vecna's attempt to ascend. This is a person who plans the long game, but cracks in that facade are beginning to show. And lost in his conversation and sensing the anticipation of the next choices, you hear large bird-like shrieks above you. As you look up, you hear the green blade. Ah, all right, it's here. Good. And you watch as 6 griffins land. The elven soldiers on their backs, in their resplendent blue, green, and gold elven chain, their huge feather-like swept-back helmets with all manner of coloration, and the cloaks made of griffin feathers, kind of shimmering off their backs. One of the riders shifts off to land onto the ground. They take off their helmet, place it under their arm. Well, what do we have here? A green blade in need of a ride? A family in need of guidance? Very interesting. Breck, you meet interesting friends. This elf kind of walks towards all of you and kind of gently stops and kind of tilts their head in each of your direction. Captain Errand, at your service. I bring messages from the Bright Queen, and I unfortunately bring tidings of concern. Please, you'll join me for a quick conversation before I help Breck get your family safety. And that's where we're going to finish tonight, with the arrival of the Rosh Hashan Guardians, the great wing-swept griffin riders of the Bright Queen, have arrived to help take your family into hiding, but to share some information before that happens. Are we all good for next Sunday?
But did they bring our boat back?
Hell no.
Yes, I'm good Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be able to make it next Sunday.
Oh no!
Sorry.
We will be off next Sunday. Everybody else linger after the end of the stream. So we'll be off for 2 weeks. Otherwise, you can check us out on Tuesdays for, I believe we have Shattered Kingdom coming up. But hey, everybody, thanks for coming out. Be safe, be kind, and don't forget, play a game. Good night, everybody. One of these days.